Get ready to have your mind blown. Here are some facts you might not have heard before. The largest land animal in Antarctica is a wingless midge, Belgica antarctica, which is less than 1.3 centimeters long. The female is larger than the male. The longest tennis match lasted 11 hours and 5 minutes at Wimbledon in 2010. Women first competed in the Olympic Games in 1900 in Paris. An Olympic gold medal is composed of at least 92.5% silver. This type of silver is also known as sterling silver. Then they are plated with a layer of gold. The minimum gold requirement by the International Olympic Committee is around 6 grams. The okapi is the only living relative of the giraffe. They are both part of the Giraffidae family, with the okapi being the sole member of the Okapia genus and the giraffe belonging to the Giraffa genus. While captive axolotls are commonly found in aquariums and laboratories all over the world, wild axolotls are much more difficult to find. This is because the only place that they live is Lake Xochimilco in Mexico. Hamburg. Germany holds the title for the city with the most bridges in the world. Estimates suggest there are between 2,300 and 2,500 bridges within its city limits. That's more bridges than Amsterdam, London. 70% of the world's hottest countries are squeezed into just one continent. Can you guess which one? Yes, Africa takes the crown for fiery temperatures. Papua New Guinea holds the title for the most linguistically diverse place on Earth. With over 850 distinct languages, that's estimated to be around 8% of the world's known languages. Allodoxophobia is the fear of other people's opinions. It's a rare social phobia that's characterized by an irrational and overwhelming fear of what other people think. Flamingos don't bend their legs at the knee. They bend their legs at the ankle. What we perceive as a knee bending is actually the ankle joint. Their knees are much higher up, hidden under their feathers. Approximately 2,000 silkworm cocoons are needed to produce 1 pound or 454 grams of silk. The very first animals in space were fruit flies. They were sent up in 1947 and recovered alive. Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, has saltwater geysers that are 20x taller than Mount Everest. Prime numbers are the VIPs of mathematics, whole numbers greater than 1 that are only divisible by 1 in themselves. Think 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. Among these stars, we find dynamic duos called twin primes, pairs that are just 2 apart, like 3 and 5 or 11 and 13. Here's the million-dollar question. Do these twin primes go on forever? This is the twin prime conjecture, a mathematical mystery that stumped experts for years. We've found many twin primes, but no one knows if they're infinite or not. It's a puzzle waiting to be solved, keeping mathematicians on their toes as they search for an answer in the endless sea of numbers. What sets the pangolin apart from any other mammal is the fact that their bodies are covered with overlapping brownish scales. In fact, they are the only mammals wholly covered in scales. These scales are made of keratin, the same material as our fingernails. Ducks conquer cold water with a built-in heat exchanger. Arteries near veins warm the blood returning from their feet, keeping their toes cool and their bodies toasty. This amazing trick, called counter-current heat exchange, lets them enjoy icy swims without getting frostbite. It's like a miniature internal furnace, strategically warming their core while keeping their feet just above freezing to prevent heat loss. This is very efficient and means that they lose little heat through their feet in the water because the temperature is almost the same. Fritz Haber's work is a stark example of science's double-edged sword. He invented the Haber-Bosch process, a revolutionary method for producing fertilizer. This innovation helped feed millions by allowing crops to grow abundantly, potentially saving countless lives from famine. However, Haber also played a tragic role in World War I by pioneering chemical weapons development, and his research later contributed to the horrific Zyklon B gas used by the Nazis in concentration camps. Archaea are remarkable single-celled organisms that thrive where life seems impossible, from boiling springs to deep-sea trenches. These hardy microbes challenge our understanding of life's limits. Though similar to bacteria in being single-celled and nucleus-free, archaea have unique ether lipids in their membranes. Their genetic makeup, intriguingly, aligns them more with complex eukaryotes, like humans, than with bacteria. Found in the most hostile environments on Earth, archaea's extraordinary adaptations make them indispensable for studying life's boundaries and the potential for extraterrestrial life. Did you know catfish are the only vertebrates that naturally sport an odd number of whiskers called barbels? Most mammals are in pairs, but catfish break the mold with their taste bud-filled feelers. The theory proposes that the odd number placement might offer some sensory advantages. The midline barbel could act as a reference point, helping the catfish to better interpret the sensory information from the paired barbels on either side. Ever feel like your hand has a mind of its own? That's the strange reality of alien hand syndrome. This neurological oddity occurs when damage to the brain, especially the corpus callosum, the bridge between your brain hemispheres, disrupts communication. Imagine trying to control your body while one hand starts unbuttoning your shirt or reaching for things you don't want. It can be both frustrating and fascinating. Alien hand syndrome is a rare condition, but it highlights the complex way our brains work together. Imagine having 8 arms and trying to control them all at once. That's the daily life of an octopus. Luckily for these clever creatures, their nervous system is unlike ours. While they do have a main brain between their eyes, it's not the only show in town. Over 2/3 of an octopus's neurons live right in its arms, with a whopping 40 million in each one. These arm brains act almost like tiny helpers, letting each tentacle sense its surroundings and figure out how to move on its own. So in a way, you could say octopuses have 9 brains. This amazing setup makes things like grabbing food a whole lot easier. The big brain acts like a mission control, making important decisions for survival while the arm brains handle the smaller tasks. Pretty cool, right? It turns out, size isn't everything, especially when it comes to spider brains. Researchers were surprised to find that the smaller the spider, the bigger its brain is in proportion to its body. In fact, the teeniest of these 8-legged wonders dedicate a whopping 80% of their real estate to their central nervous system. This discovery suggests that these little guys might be more complex than we ever imagined. Who would have thought those weird squirty blobs on rocks were our distant relatives? Yep, sea squirts and humans are in the same phylum called Chordata. But here's the kicker. These little guys start life way more complex than they end up. Picture baby sea squirts cruising around with 2 brains, a spinal cord, and nerves for movement. Pretty cool, right? Well, once they find their forever home on the seafloor, things change. They glue themselves down, become filter feeders, and actually reabsorb 1 brain and their nerve cord. Talk about a downgrade. So next time you spot a sea squirt, remember, it used to be a brainy little swimmer before settling down for the simple life. The albatross reigns supreme as the world's largest seabird. Among its 21 fellow albatross species, the wandering albatross takes the crown. Its majestic wings stretch up to 3.5 meters or 11 feet across, resembling a natural sailplane. Imagine a glider that's essentially an albatross reimagined for human flight. This master of momentum utilizes its impressive size to its advantage. With a weight reaching 13 kilograms or 28 pounds, the albatross harnesses its mass to propel itself effortlessly. One recorded case documented a wandering albatross traversing a staggering 6,000 kilometers or 3,728 miles in just 12 days. By night, these avian giants become skilled predators, feasting on a variety of prey like squid and surface fish. No other bird boasts a wingspan as impressive as the albatross, making it a true marvel of the skies and seas. Neptune experiences the fastest winds in the solar system, reaching speeds up of around 1,200 miles per hour or 2,000 kilometers per hour. They are faster than the speed of sound on Earth, so we can say that Neptune has supersonic winds. While 21 species of cobra exist, the king cobra is the sole member of its genus, Ophiophagus, and its name stems from its ability to kill and eat other cobras. However, this fierce and venomous snake is also the only snake in the world that builds a nest for its eggs. Imagine cramming 1.69 million people onto an island just 22.83 square miles wide. That's the mind-blowing reality of Manhattan in New York City. That's a whopping 72,918 people per square mile, which is like having a stadium full of people constantly buzzing around you. Talk about crowded. For comparison, let's take a trip to Alaska. This massive state is almost the opposite extreme. With a population density of only 1.3 people per square mile, you could spread everyone in Alaska out, and they'd all still have plenty of personal space. In fact, if Manhattan had the same population density as Alaska, only about 30 people would call it home. No number before 1,000 contains the letter A. Portuguese neurologist Agus Moniz in the 1930s, as a way to treat severe mental health conditions like psychosis, agitation, and anxiety. Moniz believed that by severing the connections between the frontal lobe and other regions of the brain, he could essentially reset the brain and reduce or eliminate agitation. The underlying theory was that a physical malfunction in the brain was causing these psychiatric symptoms, and that cutting the nerve connections would force a kind of reset that would alleviate the issues, a process known as lobotomy, for which he became the first Portuguese national to receive a Nobel Prize in 1949. Remember, even the smallest facts can spark big ideas. Keep thinking and keep learning. Want more mind-blowing facts? Subscribe for our next dose of knowledge.